Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about an abandoned concept from Jurassic Park 3 that I think could have been an awesome part of the third movie. Way back when the movie was still in the developmental phase, famed concept artist Ricardo Delgado actually drew up an idea for a quote, Mosasaurus breeding tank that would have existed inside of the InGen lab on Isla Sorna. So when it comes to Jurassic Park 3, I'm pretty sure all of you guys know how hectic the production of that movie was. At one point in time, they'd had plans to film where the original visitor center was. At another point, the story was going to cut away to pteranodons killing people on the mainland, and even the Spinosaurus itself was supposed to be the baryonyx originally. With that being said, there has always been one specific concept for Jurassic Park 3 that I've never really heard elaborated on too much that I personally think could have been a pretty serious scene when it comes to this older story. You see, in the final film, when Alan Grant and the others walk into the abandoned embryonics administration, we don't really get to see much outside of a few freakish fetuses and test tubes and a few shattered eggshells that are scattered around the room. Which, by the way, I have a lot of questions about, considering one of the older scripts for The Lost World states that Hurricane Clarissa hit Site B 24 months before the events of that movie, which itself is 4 years after Jurassic Park happened. So if that was really true, why was InGen still cloning dinosaurs 2 years after the Isla Nublar resort fell and John Hammond decided not to endorse the park? Well, this older Mosasaur breeding tank is actually something that fans those flames a little more for me, because from the looks of it, these animals are actually fully alive and swimming around in their tank if we're to take this art at face value. There's even a man in a lab coat occupying the room with them. Now, we don't really know if this was ever something that was folded into the overall plot for Jurassic Park 3 before they threw the script out. However, I should remind you guys that during the film's production, there were a lot of rumors surrounding a quote, underwater monster that Stan Winston may have created. Rumors at the time from Dan's JP3 page involved it either being a megalodon or possibly even a plesiosaurus, but we of course now know that none of that panned out being true. Still, out of all of the unused ideas from JP3, the idea of a fully functional lab on Site B that not only housed a breeding tank of mosasaurs, but also had InGen scientists actually residing on the island and taking care of them has always been fascinating to me. I think concept art like this and the earlier discrepancy JP3 shares with an outdated Lost World script are why people who have worked on both Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom have opted to suggest that InGen actually did come back to Isla Sorna after the events of the second movie and ended up cloning the Spinosaurus during that time. Which also explains why we didn't see that animal in The Lost World. Now, when it comes to earlier Jurassic Park ideas that unfortunately go unused, we don't usually get a lot of clarity around what their role could have been, but honestly, even if we take that info into consideration, this breeding tank has some pretty noteworthy absence in really any other part of the story that we know for a fact was planned for the movie. It could very well be a case of Ricardo Delgado just drawing something up that he thought looked cool, which of course it absolutely does, but I can't help but think that an idea like this would have made a world of difference for playing into the whole mysterious elements that the third film seemed to have. Plus, this concept artist also did a lot of work on scenes that actually did make it into the movie, like the Spinosaurus versus Rex fight and even the plane attack. So basically, here's what we know. For some reason, early on in production, Jurassic Park 3 had this elaborate set piece drawn up of a lab-coated scientist looking on at a quote, breeding tank filled with small mosasaurs on Isla Sorna, implying that not only were they still working on the island, but also that InGen had access to these guys way before the events of Jurassic World and certainly before the creation of the Telltale game in 2011. Personally, I love this idea. Even though it's not canon and got left on the cutting room floor, it opens up so many possibilities into what Site B could have been in JP3 that I really wish we'd gotten to see it. Oh well, there's always Jurassic World Dominion, I guess. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Guys, it seriously means the world to me that all of you continue to support what I do. and I never want you to ever forget that. Now, I'd like to thank all of you for watching today's video and hope that you all enjoyed the content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.